Views and opinions expressed on Live at the Barbershop are entirely those of the host, guest, and caller and do not reflect the opinions of Live at the Barbershop or its staff. Viewers' discretion is advised. The following podcast is intended for mature audiences only and contains adult contents, graphic language, strong sexual content, and a whole lot of shit talking. So in other words, get your kids out the room.
Here we go. Live at the barbershop with your hosts, Nisha J, Keisha Cash, Aaliyah, Black Republican, and those two crazy Caribbean guys from the Q&N show, Norris and Q. And now, the man of the hour, Mr. HNIC, Mr. Sleep When You're Dead, Hustle Now, the magnificent.
Yo, son. What's up with all that?
I was just trying to amp it up, you know, like...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm with that.
John, live at the Barbershop Podcast.
Yeah. World is in a different place right now. Days a little bit different than our average days. So I would label it Black Lives Matter, but I think Cop Killers fits it better. And see, Cop Killers is not like what you thinking, like what the song was, Cop Killer. Not like that. It's really cops killing us, Cop Killer. So right about now, we gotta sit down and start discussing this on a serious note and figure out something, because this seems to be getting from bad to worse, day to day. And I don't see any change coming no time soon right now. And with this person that's in office right now, I really don't know how things are gonna be going. So let me just introduce everyone on the panel today. I have myself, John, host for today, Q from the Q&N show, Nisha J, Keisha Cash, Black Republican, DJ Chang from Rude Boy International, and Uncle Pat. All right, you know what? You give me the best terminology that I could throw out there.
It's Uncle Pat.
Okay, that's what I figured. Everybody know you by that handle, so I'm gonna just throw that handle out there. Uncle Pat, activist, very active in his neighborhood, great individual, great human being, phenomenal father.
Wow.
Yeah. I've known Pat for years. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we've been running for years now. So it's an honor to have you on Live at the Barbershop today, especially in this turmoil time that we're in right now. And I figured for all the activism that you've been doing, it's a perfect setting for you to be able to chime in and voice your opinion on certain things. So, Nisha J, I'm going to turn it over to you, being as you are the Live at the Barbershop reporter for today, giving us all our information on what has been going on in this country.
So the past couple of days, as has been televised, there's been a couple of murders that's been filmed, and we've all become witnesses to just murders. We first start off with Ahmaud Arbery. He was running on February 23rd and was basically cornered by a father and son duo and someone who claimed to just witness the commotion between the father and son and this black jogger. And he filmed one of them shooting this gentleman. Then we have Breonna Taylor, who was in her apartment sleeping and with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend heard someone breaking into their home. He assumed it was home invasion. Let them come to find out it was the cops. They came and they broke in the house with the suspicion of possession of illegal substance, and they started shooting inside the house. The boyfriend got his gun, started shooting at the cops. In the crossfire, unfortunately, Breonna, the 20-something-year-old EMT, was murdered. The boyfriend was later on charged with her murder, which was crazy because the whole reason for them breaking into their house was to find the suspect, who we find out later on was in jail. He was incarcerated at the time. The last murder, which is George Floyd, which is something just ridiculous. A man being charged of passing on counterfeit money, and they said that he was having a hard time to be detained. And while being filmed, he was detained on the floor with a knee in the neck and being held down by two other individuals behind a car, which was later exposed. It was videoed. It was three officers and one officer trying to hold back the crowd, and while the crowd was like, get off of him. For 9 minutes, this officer had his knee in this gentleman's neck as he begged and cried for his mother, who he knew was deceased. For someone to cry for their mother, who is deceased, I mean, how, for 9 minutes, I can't fathom. And here we are, we walk every day and we wear these masks as we're trying to be the most protective person in the world. I myself, I work in health field. I can't deal with the mask every day. I have to take it off. But just imagine this man is being suffocated for 9 minutes with somebody's knee in their neck and can't breathe and is begging for his life. I mean, America is tired of it. And I say America because I'm on the social media, and it's not only me, my skin color, there's tons of people who are tired of it. About time, because this has gone too far. It's gone too far. It's gone too far.
Yeah, it's very touching when you have an individual that's old crying out to mom, you know. It's crazy.
Who's deceased?
You see,
Mom is dead.
I didn't know that she was deceased also.
She died 2 years that month that he died, to my understanding.
But the crazy thing about it is this has been going on for years and years and years. Like, I think this probably started back with the Rodney King. I'm not sure if any of them happened before that. That was like back in like 92 or something like that. And they have all these riots and all this stuff going on now behind it. But the real thing is, like, is people going to continue to fight for their rights, or is it just going to die down? Things going to be back regular for them? That's my biggest concern.
Yes,
people do this, and then everybody just leaves it alone until something else happens. Like, how many times is this really going to happen before people, you know, care enough to, like, stand up for what's right?
Well, I want to say this, and this is, you know, everybody think it's the COVID virus and this us being quarantined for so many months. I truly believe that this is a blessing in disguise. I'm sorry to say that this gentleman lost their lives. Nobody needs to die off of this, but I believe if people weren't sitting still and watching the news and on social media, this would not be as publicized as it would have been had we been living our regular lives. Like Keisha Cash, you said this has been going on. I can go back to when I was in high school 30 plus years ago. That stuff happened to friends of mine with police brutality, and nothing was even said or heard about it. But now, because everybody's sitting still and watching the news and on social media, and we have all these video cameras and people acknowledging it, it's getting out there. So I'm hopeful in this sense that something's going to change and something's going to become of it, because people are speaking out that normally would have not spoke out before on this matter. It's not just us alone. We have to get everybody involved. Everybody has to be on the same stance as us as African American people, Jamaican people, Trinidadian people. We all have to be on the same level, as well as the white, the Jewish, the Italians, to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. It has to end.
That's true.
Yeah, it's really sad because, we have like sons and, we got brothers and uncles. Like, this could have been anybody's family member. Like, every time this happens, it makes me think about my nephews and my, family member that are black males. But it also happened to Sandra Bland, who's a black woman. So at the end of the day, like, you can't really, you don't know who's next, but I see it's a lot of black people just dying at the hands of the police for no real reason. Like, it's crazy.
And my son and my husband, when I saw Aubrey, the first thing I thought of was my son. My son runs. He's the third fastest cross country freshman in the state of Delaware. He developed this talent within 6 weeks. He runs through these neighborhoods, and all he's thinking about is, his mom waited for him to go out for a jog and to come back, and he never returned. I could be that mom. It could be me. Just because he went to go see a house, he went inside of a house that was under construction. These men conspired to trap him because they witnessed what they thought was him going inside of a house, and they thought he was stealing, and they trapped him and wanted to question him, and because he was defiant, they shoot him. That's not right. And then they find out later that they had a separate Facebook page for the previous robberies that was in the neighborhood, and the two that were convicted, well, not convicted, that were charged with shooting Aubrey, they were the spearheaders of, well, if we ever catch them, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, instigating everything. So this is something that they built up to do. So when they saw him or someone who was brown like him, they knew what they were going to do, because there's been videotapes of others of lighter skin going into that exact same house, and nothing was done to them.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. They show more videos of white couples going in there, checking out the kitchens and the bathrooms and stuff. And they have other videos of kids just riding their bike, going through the house all over. And these two, the shooters, the guy and his son, the report says they live across the street. And they take note of everybody going in, but not for, Aubrey, who just goes in. Because the owner of the property keeps giving them video of all the people that they went into the building, But
yeah, a lot of black people are always just profiled. Like, they just assume that that's the criminal going in there to do criminal things instead of just looking at, just like if you go shopping in the store, like, everybody's probably been profiled on here at some time or another.
Let me ask a question on something though. Do you think social media, with the way how these kids nowadays is, by no means it doesn't give anyone a pass for the shit that's been going on, but do you think that social media now, how World Star is like out of control with depicting us as just animals? Like, all we're known for doing is fighting and cutting up shit and taking drugs, and like the image that has been put out there, not to mention the movies, the music, the World Stars, and it can keep going on and on and on. Doesn't give anyone a pass. But at the same time, for us in our neighborhood, I do believe we need to do better.
I agree.
Because the problem with it right now, and we're not making any excuses for anybody, but at the end of the day, we live here. These are our neighborhoods. And if we don't police it ourselves, then stuff like this is going to constantly keep happening. Meaning that, okay, if there's certain individuals in your neighborhood that's been fucking up, you need to go check them. And then for the police stations, we need to start walking in these police stations and letting them know, look here, these officers gotta start getting more personal. Problem with it now, they just collecting a paycheck. See what I'm saying? So, back in the days, an officer, when I grew up, at least, when I grew up and I'm walking in my neighborhood, and I lived in multiple neighborhoods from Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and Manhattan, and it always was like that back in the days. An officer would walk by, like if, they had the fruit stands out, different things like that. You go to the store, Hey, what's up, such and such? What's up, Miss Johnson? Hey, what's up, Officer? Blah blah blah. They knew certain people by last names, first name basis. So if an officer saw you and he was doing some stupid shit, he would pull you to the side and say, "Hey, Q, watch what you're doing. I don't like how you're moving right now." But now, because there's no connection, like they really don't care. Doesn't matter. And I don't know how the training is happening now in these boot camp and training things that they training these cadets and stuff, and then they sending them out in the world. These people have a different notion, and I tried to look at it from both angles because I have police friends also, and I tried to look at it, and I spoke to a police friend of mine last night, and we was on the phone for a while about this. He was going to join us on the phone, but he'll probably be there for part 2 because he has to do some clearance with the police station to make sure on coming on the show. But the thing with it, I try to look at it from his angle. A cop goes out and he's trying to go back home to his family. Okay, you get that part of it. And like he said to me also, you know, the slightest wrong move you can make or downplay an individual, you might say, nah, he look harmless. That individual might be the one to take you out. And we get all that. The problem with it now is that these white cops, and the problem with it too, and I'm gonna get to the black cop ones too, but the problem with the white cops now, they just have this depiction of us off rip that if you even flinch, the excuse nowadays is, I felt threatened. I felt threatened. Understand what I mean? It don't matter if you had nothing in your hand, you had a toy gun, water gun, had your hand in your pocket, I felt his neck. You know, this is not even protocol. But he would sit there just like the Oriental guy sat there. Just sat there. And just basically watched this thing go down. So these are the problem that we have to start policing in our own neighborhood and let them know. And then when the celebrities come around now, like the Jay-Z's, the Beyoncé's, the Oprahs, the big wigs, where they at?
Yeah.
Like, where they at right now? Where they at?
Where is he? Where is he?
I see Snoop Dogg. He's putting together some stuff for to try to get celebrities together to do that. I follow his Instagram, so I know for one he is definitely.
Snoop should not have to put anything together. It should be an automatic thing.
Well, he's doing it, but he's trying to get other celebrities to join in and try to come up with like a bigger plan than this to use their platform to, you know, try to get across to more people, which is what they should be doing because they have major platforms. You know, us, we have smaller platforms, but they can reach millions of people at one time. So,
right, but reaching them and making an impact where it's going to be a change is two different things.
You're absolutely right.
Because, I mean, and Corey can tell you, John Johns can tell you, that, listen, I used to be a terrible dude. You know what I'm saying? It didn't take nobody to tell me that I need to be better. It took me having kids for me to be better. But the thing is, I'm going to go back to where John John was when he talked about cops. Cops. Now, some police are too young to be running these streets because they don't know how to deal with people. So, of course, they won't know how to interact with them. I mean, like I said, like he said, back in the days, you know, there would be cops, and we knew to be cops by name, and they knew you by name and knew your parents and everything. So if they said something, you knew that they were going to see your moms or pops or whoever and make a comment to them. And that's why you would shut out, especially in your neighborhood. But that doesn't happen anymore. There is no cops out here know you unless they picked you up before. You understand what I'm saying? There's no friendliness. It's a standoff all the time, no matter what. The thing is, the cops are too young, or some of the cops are not from the neighborhoods that they police. They're not from the neighborhoods they police, and they don't understand the culture of the neighborhood. I mean, I got cops who are like, why are you hanging out on this guy's steps? Because that's what we do. We've been doing that since we were kids. You understand what I'm saying? But those are different things, whereas there's always going to cause a beef and tension. You understand what I'm saying? As far as changing the culture, we got to be promoting to our kids to be in law enforcement, to be in politics and so forth and so on, to be upstanding citizens. We just can't have them going for trade work and something to get away from the neighborhood. We need them to stay in that neighborhood and build up our neighborhood. I mean, like I said, it took me, like I said, I used to be a terrible dude. I ain't gonna lie. I did some of the craziest shit in the world. But at the end of the day, I turned it around. You know what I'm saying? Turned it around where I am somebody in the community and they can actually come to me to get things done. And I can actually walk into a precinct, or I can walk into a politician, councilman, state senator's office and get something done. But it takes time for that to happen. Where do you get that if you don't, if you're not seeing somebody doing it, somebody holding your hand to make it happen? So these are the different. Go ahead.
It has to start with the leaders, and I think when you say it has to happen, you have to have someone who's going to be willing to lead the community, that someone that they trust in order to implement this. Because back in my parents' day, they had leaders. We have no leaders. There's no leaders. There's no one to look up to and say, oh, that's a Reverend Jesse Jackson. Oh, that's a Martin Luther King. Oh, that's, these leaders that's out there protesting and for our rights. We don't have none of that. We have none of that. It's declined. And the ones that are supposedly still leading, where are they? Where are they?
They only
There's
step up.
Right. It's sad. It's like we need a full change of infrastructure, if you ask me. And someone said something to me in the past. They said, the only reason why we as Black people became free is because other cultures realized that this was wrong and that we can't enslave these people because that's wrong. It's humane. And it took the white people to do it. Exactly. And that's why I strongly, strongly say we can't do it by ourselves. We have to have someone who's outside of the culture to convince everybody that this is wrong. And it's happening today. I am optimistic. In this horrible time of fighting this COVID, of this horrible times of witnessing 3 deaths on TV, I am so optimistic that someone is listening and hearing, because we haven't seen this much press about people being angered of all races, creeds, and colors about this man's death and others. Well, if this person died, then who else has died? They're becoming aware. And even if they say it's not right, at least it's opening up your eyes. Because before it was, well, why didn't you just follow what the cops say? Why didn't you just listen to what the cops say? Just do what they say, And now it's like, oh well, maybe Kaepernick did have a point when he was kneeling. Maybe there isn't a such thing as all lives matter. So.
But I have a question though. How many white people have you seen get shot and killed by the police?
Never.
Zero.
Never. Not by Black policemen, I have not seen. Not killed.
Or because they thought they pulled out a gun or just anything in particular of that. I've seen the worst people not get shot by the police, like white people that killed a whole group of people. And
you can Google it and still can't find it.
The only thing I saw with a white man, my mom sent it to me the other day. I think it was in Atlanta airport, where the white man was being taken into custody by the airport police, and he said, "You're treating me like a Black person."
I saw that.
I don't know if you saw that. Anybody saw that?
No, I saw that.
But did he get shot?
No, but they did take him down to the ground, and he was yelling and screaming and fighting with them. There's a very tall man too. But he did say that. He did say, "You're treating me like a Black person."
He was intoxicated at that time, and they were searching his bag, and he didn't like that. So because of that, I guess the officers there decided to detain him, and that's when he was saying those things. He was actually a doctor, from what I remember reading. But I can tell you this: in Minneapolis, same state that George Floyd was murdered. I don't know if it was a year ago or 2 years ago. There was a Black cop who shot an Australian woman by accident.
Was it?
I remember that.
And he killed her.
Was it? I think he was more like
Ethiopian. He was Ethiopian. He was put like this. He was a brown person.
Yeah. Free.
He didn't have no chance. he was in jail before we can even blink. Okay? And you can fill in the rest, Mr. Fuller.
And this case that's going to go down now is actually going to help him get less years. Well, he's going to put a petition to get time off. But nevertheless, they should have been arrested right off the bat. They shouldn't have just. I mean, they seem fit to fire him, but they didn't see fit to arrest him. And it had to take some uproar and mention by the mayor in order for it to happen. See, but the thing is, let's look at it this way. Let's look at this. This is only the first step in a long process. Everybody said, "Oh yeah, he got arrested," but now, who in that community is registered voters, and you know where the registered voters go? Registered voters are now in the jury pool. So now, is that going to be is that going to follow through? Because if the grand jury does not indict, there's no case.
Right. But is he in jail, or is he just in custody? Because all they said is they have him in custody. That could be protective custody.
They just said custody. They didn't say nothing more.
Yeah, they said they had him in custody. I didn't hear anything about him being I didn't see him in the handcuffs or nothing on the screen. I don't know if he really went to jail or if he's just in protective custody somewhere.
So they just said he's in custody.
Was charged.
They said something about third-degree murder, but basically what that implies is it's not saying that you had intention to murder him,
right?
But you had the intention, like his life wasn't concerning to you.
Exactly.
Like you had no care about his life, and that's how he died. They're not saying that he purposely killed him, but he didn't really care.
Well, they used to work together. They found that out just recently, so that's probably what.
Yeah, you worked at the club for about 17 years, and he was working for 1 year. But the guy, though, he shouldn't even be working for the precinct at all because he has 18 counts, as far as harassment or brutality causes, and he shot, other individuals prior to this case. He has two that he was reprimanded for, and the other 16 cases were, is pretty much handled by the police, you know what I'm saying? So they weren't moved up the list, you know what I'm saying, for either reprimand or to be held by civil court or anything like that. So he's known for this behavior. So that means he's tied to someone within the precinct that's getting him out of these things because they have he shot a guy in the stomach on an incident, you know what I'm saying, where he tried to go into the dude's home, you know what I mean? The dude's name was Latrell Tolles, you know what I'm saying? Shot him in the stomach, and he's 21 years old, you know what I'm saying? He also had an incident where he murdered Wayne Reyes, you know what I'm saying? 16 bullets fired by multiple cops, you know what I mean?
Are these individual blacks?
They're different, black, Latino, but the thing is, he has a history of this. You get what I'm saying? Of violence. And I remember back in the days, you had a crazy cop on the force or whatever the case is, and if it's all documented going in, there's psyche valves and other things that goes down where they remove them off the street. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, every time you go out, you get either a complaint or somebody's dead or injury, and then we got to fill out mad insurance and all sorts of crap. You know what I mean? Because in the end, it's a job. So if you're working for somebody and you're causing harm and danger to the people that's paying your check, eventually you're either going to get fired, suspended, demoted, or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? But none of these things happen.
I have a question, though. Like, who do you call? Like, if you see somebody out there being hurt by the police, like, who else are you supposed to call to stop them or try to help them at that moment? That's what I've been wondering, because I don't want to be on the street and see nothing crazy like that and not be able to do anything.
You gotta stand up. See, me, I look at it like this. The problem with especially Black America, the problem is Black America has listened to the pastors and the freedom movement leaders telling them to turn the cheek and to be passive and all that other nonsense. That has never changed anything for us. That has never done nothing. Look, remember before, remember the Watts riots in Cali? Mad stuff was going down, and it took just this same incident for the people to say, "Yo, we're done." They wrecked everything for people to witness. Like, this is what's going on here. We're not doing this to cause violence and other stuff. Like, yeah, you're gonna have looters. Once people know there's riots going down, they're gonna drive from a whole nother state to come and loot.
I don't mean to
You know
cut
what I'm saying? And then bounce out. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is,
that's the one part that is retarded at the end of the day. And again, it goes back to the same thing where we were talking about, where Pat was talking about the same thing. You got to start aiming higher. Your kids and different things, even for us. You know, you can't have a wicked jump shot or you selling crack rock. You know what I mean? It's like, there got to be something else going on. The Spanish, they get into politics because they know that's going to make change. You know what I'm saying? Like, for all of us, those are not the drives. And then the few that are in, it's either going to go right or it's going to go left. You have some that are fighting for the community, but the community does not support them enough to get certain things done. And then you have the others that once they get in, they sell out and they gone. And they don't come back. So the thing with it now, you going now to start rioting and looting is just reminding or perpetuating the starting bullshit in the beginning again, where they're gonna look and say, "See, what did I tell you about them? What did I tell you about them?"
But I've been listening about that because I was so much against the looting and everything, but I've been listening to some people in officials where they're actually saying the looting is just, it comes from fed up. This may be the way for for them to see that.
No.
Yeah, but
no.
But
he's actually correct. He's actually correct in that statement.
Yes.
Because that's what they do. They want to bring attention to their plight. But the problem they have is now, usually where they had a protest is in their own neighborhood, where everybody knows the situation. My thing is, I need them to go to the other neighborhood and have that same protest so you can enlighten that neighborhood. And if it turns out that you want to damage their neighborhood, damage their neighborhood. Let them come to your neighborhood now and spend that money and bring up your property level.
This one,
when they do it to your neighborhood, when you do it to your own neighborhood, now guess what? There's no money in your neighborhood because now when you want to go shop and that property tax and sales tax is going to a whole different area when you have to drive 10 miles to go shop. You get what I'm saying? So it's systematic, whereas you're killing yourself. But I understand what you're trying to do with protesting. But the thing is, if you're going to do something like this, you got to be more enlightened. If you're going to start it, do the protesting in their side of town. Where they should have been walking was in front of their house, in front of Derek Chavin's house.
They did. They had him hostage.
I'm against the looting still, but I'm listening.
I feel it's a way of people expressing their anger physically. Like, people are pissed. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. If I was there, I'd probably running around getting my little 2 cents in too.
When Rodney King happened, same thing happened in Queens, in Jamaica Avenue. Okay? Yes. Like, it didn't take nothing, but I'm telling you something. I was in it. And it's just a conscious situation of what side are you playing for? Because if we saying that...
Yes.
But see, that's the thing. I was pissed off about the situation. I saw everything that happened. I've been through police brutality myself, so I understand fully. But I remember when the first kid threw the rock through the over at the Coliseum and it broke the jewelry store window. Everyone paused for a minute because it's like everyone's thinking, oh shit, the window's broken and there's chains and everything dangling everywhere. Now they went buck wild. Now, me and some of my homies, some of them was getting ready to go grab. I had to stop and like, yo, whoa, chill. We ain't even into all of that right there because that's not what we came out here to do. And the problem with it, I knew some of the jewelry store owners. So now, how is it that I know Ishmael and know some of these dudes, and then at the end of the day now, I'm going to be robbing their store and then saying it's because I'm frustrated? it's because I'm from. I'm robbing from the same dude that lives here with me, has been taking care of me for all these years. When I come for the discounts, when I come for, oh, I need my girl's name to do a certain chain for me, he's like, yeah, I got you. Now, all of a sudden, my excuse to him, I'm frustrated. So that's why I said, come on.
You know what? They're thinking, I feel like they're thinking that they're trying to hit them in their pockets. Like when they go on a Target and this and that or whatever, they're trying to hit them in their pockets, not knowing that the people have insurance.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I looked on CNN last night. Hold on. I looked on CNN last night. When they burnt down the AutoZone and then they were still rioting, I saw one dude run out with 2 flat screen TV under his armpits. You mad at something? Because I'm guaranteed at his house, he got about 3 of them shits on his wall already. Guaranteed. The average house, black household, got about 2 to 3 TVs on their walls. And it ain't nothing less than a 40-something inch. You understand what I'm saying? So what is it that's pissing you off that much?
No, but the thing is, here's the thing though.
You going about it the correct way. Now when he fuck up that store, like Pat said, where are you gonna get it from? AutoZone. When your car tomorrow, when you need that car to go to work or something happen, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
So Pat, how can we protest to get answers?
Well, like I said, it has to be systematic. Maybe we got protesting comes in a lot of forms. We can boycott. We can do anything. A lot of times, we need to keep our money in our own communities. But nobody looks at that anymore because everybody wants a certain name brand. They want to do this and they want to do that. Sometimes, they always talk about buy black. We need to start buying black. Period. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do without. But then we don't live like that anymore. You understand what I'm saying? We don't live like our elders used to live. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they didn't need a shiny new car. As long as the car could get them to work and back, they didn't care. They didn't need a fly sneaker. They didn't need Jordans. They didn't need this. They didn't need none of that. You understand what I'm saying? As long as they can get up, put on, wash their ass, and go to work and come back, they ain't care about none of that, all that flash. We need money to ourselves. Back in the days when they had, when they had to get whatever. Those were the Puerto Rican gambling, Spanish gambling spots, or the black numbers hole, a shit like that. That money kept the money in the neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? When we go spend everything else with like Amazon and all that, we ain't bringing them nothing back to us. We need to start buying black. If we buy black, then we can hold some weight. We can actually tell them, well, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. But we don't have that power because guess what? We don't stay together. Period. And that's
just about to say that the unity. There's no unity with us.
Black people need to come together. I mean, trust me. No matter where we at, we in jail, we in politics, we in whatever. We don't stick together the way we're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? You might find some unity some places, but totally across the board, no, we're not. We're black, we're brown, we're light skinned, we're this, we're Jamaican, we're not together. Trust and believe me, even in your own neighborhood, we're not together.
True.
At the end of the day, though, this is going to happen for like a week. Everybody's going to support. They're going to come together. And then after that, everybody's going to go back on about their lives until something new happens again. And that's what's the frustrating part about this. Like, not that everything is happening, but the fact it's going to keep happening because people are not consistent on trying to, build everything back up. They do it until something new happens. Like, people just go about their lives.
Well, the biggest issue with that is, and it comes to economics, because you got the people that they need, think about it, they need to go to work and come back, and they don't have the power or the energy to go help in the community, because that's free. You get what I'm saying? They don't have that. There's a lot of people that just need to go to work and come back and take care of their own family so that they could be all right. And that's where we lose at. If you notice, and this is why I said earlier about pushing your children to do different jobs, to make money from a young age. If you notice, they push their kid, and I'm gonna say white folks, they push their kids, good, bad, or ugly, to go to college. Because they could care less if they fail, get high, get drunk, or whatever. But when they come out of there, they'll come out there with a degree and a certain stature of money to start with. You get what I'm saying? And they could have been the biggest knucklehead all through school. If you notice, that's what they do. We don't do that. We make sure our kids get through high school, and then we basically leave them alone. Student loans and everything. You understand what I'm saying? We need to change our culture. You get what I'm saying? We need to help ours get along. Like I said, You got knucklehead white boys that was assholes and got great jobs because their families pulled them up. And I'm talking about local three electricians, plumbers, this, that, and the next thing. We got tradesmen, black, Caribbean, West Indian tradesmen that are not in the union, making as much as they could. Think about it. But meanwhile, the white folks, they're in a union, and guess what? When they get called to do a job, they're getting $100 an hour. Meanwhile, when you call your brother over here, the West Indian, they're getting what, $25?
Terrible. Terrible.
So we need to change. We need to systematically. We need to change. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, and then again, like I said, we need to be more. We need to have more unity, and that's what it is. I mean, we need
The
to
next thing is also education, because back in the days in slavery, they didn't want black people to know how to read and do all this other stuff, because once you get too much knowledge, you have too much power. And like what you were saying about them going back to school, like education is very important. Like we don't just read. A lot of us don't read just to read and educate ourselves, unless we have to. But we're missing out on a lot that could help us, through a lot of this stuff. So I don't know. I feel like educating yourself definitely is going to be.
That's always the key. That's paramount. Period.
It is definitely.
Remember, you also have a lot of issues where, you know what I'm saying, our community, I understand when you say like we have to stick together and stuff like that, but there's a lot of black people, you know what I'm saying, a lot of black leaders that are building up their children, that are teaching children how, to invest in themselves and to do other things like that. You know what I'm saying? There are those individuals, but one of the biggest things is the reason why you're not hearing about them in the mass is because a lot of them, they're building their own networking system. Because the problem is for the majority of Black America is closed in, and they refuse to come out of whatever kind of box or bubble they're in. So a lot of times you could say, do I spend 15 to 20 years training this person to let them know the reality that they live in? Or do I turn and build a network with these individuals that understand, and we flourish, and then we move on to a new generation from there? Because one of the things is there's a big generation gap from the 60s, the 70s to the 90s. You get what I'm saying? There's a huge generation gap of things, and a lot of stuff was missing in that time frame. And now we started getting back to it in the 90s, in the early 2000s. But in the mid 2000s, that gap came back. You get what I'm saying? And then everybody just forgot about what kind of struggle they were going through, what kind of, situation was going on, you know what I mean? And people don't realize, because, a lot of people, they call me out saying I'm an Obama hater. I don't hate the man, I just hate a lot of stuff that he done. You know what I'm saying? Because when we were coming, when we were rising back up, there was a huge movement. The Black Panthers started back up, the members of Islam came back in. You had a lot of different movements going on. We were doing a lot of movement. We were trying to build back communities and other things like that. And it's like, I think they realized that, and they say, you know what? Let's throw Obama out there. And then everybody just got super comfortable because they were like, oh man, we could slow down now because we got a black president. But then you turn around and say, hold on, what really was done within that situation? The problem, the reason why I'm going on this is because of the problem is with especially Black America, we don't hold on to something for ourselves. Like we don't build it up ourselves. We always keep going back and we say, yo, these individuals need to change to support me. You get what I'm saying? To do something for me. I need you to change to do something for me. This is America. You get what I'm saying? It's like you're walking into, it's like that block is hot, right? You got your chains out, you got money hanging out your pocket, all of that, looking extra fresh. And you walk down that block, you getting robbed, my G. But you go down there, and then you're looking for known individual that does these things to change their mind and have a heart to not do it. You know what I'm saying? If you know your situation, then you got to live around it. You get what I'm saying? You have to live around it. And one of the problems is there's a lot of privileged black kids, like middle-aged individuals, because you got moms and grandmas now at 30 and 20 something years old. You know what I'm saying? that they're super privileged. They buying the brand newest phone that comes out. They buying the freshest fits. They straight. But as soon as they don't get something, they complain. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is we're not building ourselves to have our own community, to have our own infrastructure, to have our own political party. Why are we voting for two parties that never did jack for us? You get what I'm saying? Instead of just building our own party and doing our own thing. The left and right thing has never done anything for us, ever. There's no time frame in history of America where the left or right has done anything for black people. You get what I'm saying? In a whole. Because look, Marcus Garvey came over, and Marcus Garvey started he built his own militia, he built his own community, he started his own ranks, he started everything within America in the time frame when we were actually being snatched up and all of that. Segregation, all of that stuff was going down. And he was able to do this type of movement. You get what I'm saying? And look what they had to do. They had to come around and build some fraud case and other crap in order to get him out. But he left, and what happened? The movement just went bloop, 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 right back down in the drain. Malcolm X lost his life. Martin Luther lost his life. Huey P., all these individuals. It's like if we don't have someone holding our belt and saying, yo, move this way, turn this way, go this way, stand right here. It's like we ain't trying to do it. And the problem, that's why
I have a question.
What's up?
So, go ahead.
So my thing is, Blacks, do you think when Obama was president, because he's black, the expectation was too much and people rely on too much? Because we have never there is no president, prime minister, or leader will ever please a nation, all the nation. You see what I'm saying? Was it because Obama was black? Black people put too much expectation in him, and they have never seen it before happen to no president. So maybe the expectation.
No, yeah, because remember, who do you see repping Obama more now than anyone?
White folks.
Yeah, they hold him like, even they're saying bring Obama and Michelle back, get Trump out, bring him back. Yo, I'm telling you, if you look in the basis, the whole yes we can thing, you got to think, who's the we that he was speaking of? He made laws for the homosexual community, the LGBTQ community, actual discrimination laws where schools got to change their structures, police got to change their structures, churches have to change their structures. You coming from Chicago, from the time frame of Chicago at your age, knowing the deal of what was going down in Chicago. And you mean to tell me you couldn't pass a law of discrimination? And remember, a lot of these shootings, Trayvon, Mike Brown, a lot of that stuff was going on underneath Obama's watch. You get what I'm saying?
But think about it.
Where was our ruling, though? Where was our ruling when it came down to that? And this is why I say we got to stop looking at these politicians, these presidents, and these individuals in power, even in our churches and in our local fields. If these individuals are not for us, get them out. You get what I'm saying?
But think about it, though.
Do someone else.
If he wasn't for, at the end of the day, if he didn't kind of stand under the control of the Caucasian man, he probably wouldn't have made it as long as he did. If you noticed, anybody that went against what they're going for ended up assassinated or killed in some type of way.
But what do we call those individuals, though?
These are nice.
Yeah, I understand what they're called, but I'm saying he wouldn't have lasted that long in there if he probably would have went against them just like anybody else. He probably would have been assassinated, or anything could have happened. That's what I'm saying. Like, the thing is that at the end of the day, the Caucasian man still runs everything. So we can feel like we have a certain amount of power, but at the end of the day, they're still going to, cut things down and make it allowable to what they allow you to do.
So this guy now who is saying these people are nice people who are creating all these situations. The protest the other day in what state I didn't know that these dudes with their rifles spits in policeman's face, and they think a black guy could spit in the policeman's face and something comes out of that?
Because they have power. They have power within the community to make those. They can affect. They can, if something happens to them, They can make a judgment move that shuts down the police movement. They can make a movement that shuts down a politician movement. They can make a movement that says, yo, the next person running for president ain't getting no votes in this community. They can make those moves because they have the power structure, they got the build of it, and they have their culture still behind them. Asians come over here with their cultures. Russians come over here with their culture. You got Europeans come over here with their culture. Spanish come over here with their culture. Black people come over here with their culture and trade it out for American culture.
Yes.
Every time. That's why everyone outside of America, anyone that's black, will always say, yo, you went to America and got Americanized.
Mm-hmm.
You get me what I'm saying? We get brainwashed. America's system for black people is not growth. It's submissive behaviors. It's entrapment. That's America's system. So if we don't understand that, we're still being naive to the whole shit. This shit is real. We've swamped ourselves with movies of mafia members and all these other goofballs, you know what I'm saying, instead of looking at our own real life. Our real life is more entertaining and devastating than anything on movies that have been put out. You get what I'm saying? That's why any real documentary that comes out about our real life is way up there on the charts of shock value and all of that. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Ooh, everybody's shocked. Because we spend the majority of our time looking outside, wondering what everybody else is doing, instead of looking in and saying, yo, what can we do to get the outside change? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like even with what I was saying before about the riot situation and the looting and all of that, yeah. I don't agree burning down your own neighborhood. That's damn near stupid.
I don't agree.
Now are out of work.
None of us agree with that.
But what I do agree with what this riot was about, they started, neighborhood leaders came in and directed the group. They directed the riots. And I watched a 7-hour live video of people just in the street doing stuff. Dudes interviewing people in the streets, doing all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And there's individuals that drove an hour, 2 hours to the spot just so they could be involved with what's going down. So they could either loot or do whatever crazy madness. You get what I'm saying? Just like Ferguson, when half the people that was there wasn't even from that neighborhood. But they were blaming the people of Ferguson of tearing up the neighborhood. You get what I'm saying? But the thing is, what I liked is they went after the cops. Because remember, they were having a peaceful, vigil out there for the dude in the neighborhood. And the cops came to break it up. And everybody started turning on the cops. They forced the cops out. They were throwing rocks at the vehicles, busting out their windows. And they say, you know what? Screw this. That's how it really started.
Yeah.
The cops ignited this. This was peaceful at first. And the cops ignited this. So now that riot moved from the neighborhood to the town, to the police precinct, where they ripped down the gate, destroyed all the vehicles in the lot, and set the precinct on fire. You get what I'm saying, down the road. And then it went from there to the city, where they started rioting and breaking everything down. And now the cops are doing tear gas, rubber bullets, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? But the cops initiated this. The mayor did nothing while this was going down. Only reason why he's now saying he's gonna do something is because what else is he gonna do with 10,000 people in the street pissed off about what his police force did?
So you see how they,
you know what I'm saying?
Reporters from CNN also.
Yeah, they west there.
Like,
yeah.
If that was
Who was brown? Who was brown? He was brown.
Yeah.
The main man
the
was
guy
brown.
was Spanish, yeah. But the thing with it, which is so, it's good. It's so good because that was the dumbest thing you could have done at the time, is to arrest a reporter on reporting the news. Like
well, you know what? They're trying to shut down social media right now. They don't want people to see things live and how it is and how everything is going. They want to be able to cover it up before it's too late. And now the thing is, people can see things. Yeah, but now they're arresting reporters because of what? Because they're telling you stuff that they don't want them to know.
Remember Ferguson, they were kicking the reporters out of Ferguson too. And the mayor had to come out and said that, that the reason why this thing is getting out of hand is because you had a lot of reporters that was coming out reporting the wrong thing because they were trying to put out clickbait to boost their ratings. Because if you look at a lot of these mainstream medias, their ratings have been in the toilet lately. So they're all jumping on this to do as much as they can to get their ratings back up. You get what I'm saying? And the mayor of Ferguson, she came out and she called them out and she said, yo, this wouldn't have gotten this way if you individuals didn't do this. She brought 3 gangs together in unity to help stop the riots and all of that. And she didn't get no airtime, no, oh my God, let's give you an award for, for outstanding, movements that you made to do this when we had nothing in our pockets to pull out. You get what I'm saying? She didn't get nothing because the thing is now, the ratings is the problem. They want to see the riots. They want to see the fights. They want to see the disease. Every time you turn on the news, you don't hear, oh man, stand-up citizen made ice creams for the kids outside. You don't hear those type of news reportings. All you hear is drama, death, corruption, scandal. You don't hear nothing anymore of any kind of happiness and nothing on the news.
Yeah,
Because people don't want to see the good news. They want to see the
No,
bad.
it's their ratings. They're going for their ratings. They don't give a shit about the news, the truth. It's about ratings.
So Black,
Then-
my question is,
Mhm.
the tweet from the president that says, the thugs, and here comes the looting, and with the looting comes the shooting, because that's one of the major things.
So we don't.
Realize it was quote from way back in the days when the oppression. So what do you think about that?
Well, that's exactly what's going on now, though. I mean, I think he's stupid for saying this shit. Even with the whole trying to censor Twitter and all of that, and Facebook for political fact check, is dumb because you're going against amendments right there. Freedom of speech and freedom of the press.
What, Twitter?
You do that, that'll backfire on everybody. Because now anyone that's trying to put out something a part of the press or speech will be condemned. You get what I'm saying? That's a stupid move.
That's why right now they're at his house.
Yeah, the White House.
Yeah, they ready to storm the White House right now. He probably in some bunker in the White House trying to hide up.
Listen to me. I'm for all of this. I'm for all of it. Because I always tell people, stop with this whole, sharing on Facebook and you post a little filter over your profile picture and then that's it. Get out and go do something about it. You know what I mean? If you got information, you got footage of some situation, let everybody see the footage. Let everybody get the information. You know how many times I post stuff and they tell me, oh man, yo, Trey, bro, one of these days they're gonna come after you. You know what I mean? Because you keep antagonizing the government, you keep doing this and blah. Putting out the truth, letting the people know about what's going down is antagonizing the government. Remember, the government works for us.
Yo,
In the end, the government should be fearing the people.
yo.
If they don't do what the people want, then they should fear that the people is going to uprise against them.
Exactly.
And this has happened throughout history.
Yo,
You know what I'm saying?
yo.
But we don't hold our politicians, our local politicians, accountable. That's our biggest issue.
Yeah.
We elect them every 4 to 6 years, and guess what? We don't go see them. We don't, like I said, we don't put the fire under their ass. I mean, I know I do because, like I said, I'm in touch with them. But
Yeah.
it starts small. It starts as a block association, then moves up to to your council, and so forth and so on. I mean, you got to put the pressure on them. A lot of times, you go to the vote, you go vote, you go vote, and then that's it. The thing is, it has to be 2 ways. You got to go and put the pressure on them, and you got to tell them they got to come back and feed us with information. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, there's so much that I could say. I mean, we can go on for hours about this, but like I said, you got to hold them accountable. Because if we don't hold them accountable, they're gonna do what the fuck they want to do all day, every
Well,
day.
my thing too is it's not about what you're doing, but how they're doing it. You can still get a point across without, because now it's just making everybody look just like what they say we are and making us look a certain way. So they feel like, okay, now that's why we do what we do to them is because this is why they act this way. So they're basically putting us out there to look like animals and look crazy. So whenever they do something, it's okay. And that's why I said it's not really about what they're doing. It's just how they're doing it. To me, if you do it in a way more private, more peaceful, like things can still get accomplished, but it doesn't make us look crazy and wild. That makes them feel like, okay, so if you see them and you shoot them on sight, this is why, because of the fact that they're acting crazy and this is how they always are. This is why we treat them how we do.
again,
I say we hit them in the pockets.
That's why I said there's plenty of ways to get around it. But if you go doing all this stuff, it's just showing them this is why we have to do stuff to them because they're acting crazy. And I don't like that because they make us look crazy on TV and stuff, and that makes them feel justified for the things that they do, and it's not right.
Exactly. What we need to do, I mean, boycotting, daytime. We go to a certain area and we make sure no one goes into the stores. Guess what? That'll mess up their economy for their whole month. Their books would be so fucked up. But the thing is, we can't stop everybody from shopping or buying or do what they got to do. That's the biggest problem. We need more unity. We need everybody to be on the same path. And that's the hardest thing in the world, when everybody got their own agenda.
Let's go back to the what you call it there, to the situation where that happened with Gucci a couple months back, where with Gucci, I believe T.I. and a couple of them said, "No, boycott." I believe it was for what was it, a day or two or something like that.
Yeah.
Like most of the boycotts I've seen coming up nowadays is a day or two. Like a day or two, it's not gonna do nothing. White America already understands how we operate. They understand, like when the whole thing happened with H&M, when they had the I believe
the monkey
or something on the sweater and the whole 9 yards.
And Fendi and Gucci and them.
Right. So they understand how we operate. We operate like this. It's a comfort zone for a lot of blacks. Not all, because I don't wear designers.
Not all.
You know
Not
what I'm
I
saying?
was gonna say, how many of us could afford Fendi and Gucci anyway?
No, but listen, a lot of people will not pay.
We losing our bills to pay for them dumbass clothing.
A lot of people will not pay their rent to get that designer bag or whatever. They'll sell their soul. But the point is, they know our MO. They know, okay, you know, they're upset right now.
They'll be okay
Blacks,
later.
Give it a week or two. We'll even stretch it to a month. They'll be back. And that's exactly what happened. Because after that whole Gucci situation happened, when Floyd Mayweather said, "Y'all don't care about nobody else, I ain't got no problem. Fuck that, I'm wearing it." Okay? That solidifies it. And then not only that, though, but the main fact that even the ones that protested it a month or two later shot video.
they're wearing it.
Gucci on still, and they still. So at the end of the day, they understand that it's just how we do. You understand what I'm saying?
It'll blow over.
How we do. And they
Yeah.
know that.
Remember they pushed out Dapper Dan to go get our apologies back on every black radio station you could think of. He was
Here's
on
the thing. You can't really say they pushed Dapper
telling us why we need to forgive them.
Hold up. You can't really say they pushed Dapper Dan out. Dapper Dan had the opportunity to do his thing. Dapper Dan chose to go through with these people, and then at the end of the day realize, oh shit, they fucked me again. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at this point, even you getting screwed over twice, because the first time they threatened him with the fact that he was using their logos and the block way back. And then
Well, I mean, you can't make excuses for an individual that knows, man.
Say again?
I said you can't make excuses for a grown ass individual that knows. That's the problem. We make excuses for these individuals.
No, but that's
We
why I
gotta
just
watch
told
their
you.
movements.
That's why I just told you. There ain't no excuses being made. I told you. Dapper Dan had the choice to either say, "Nah, I ain't fucking with you," but he decided to say that he's gonna go with Gucci, and then Gucci used him to spread it even further. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is Dapper Dan could have easily decided to say, "Nah."
Yes, but you got to look at who Dapper Dan is. His education level wasn't up there, so he didn't know how to navigate that. You
No, I
understand?
understand that, but when he was doing all of that, that was back then. I'm talking about right now. When the Gucci joint went down,
Right.
he's up there now with the education of the system of what's going on. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But for him, remember, it's just like if you see a news reporting or something goes down, who do they send out to report it?
You be educated all you want.
It's normally a black reporter, or you'll see the black anchors talking about the situation. They will always use us to solve their situation when it comes down to us. You get what I'm saying?
Again,
Yeah.
You didn't see no Italian Gucci company heads talking about the situation, apologizing. You saw some Twitter notes, but who's behind that? You get what I'm saying? That might be some little PR company they hired. But you
That's
didn't
it.
hear no CEOs of Fendi, Gucci, freaking what's the name? Homegirl with the slippers. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see none of them come out and apologize for none of that.
But they're never gonna apologize because guess
That's what
what?
I'm saying.
They don't-
Because that's their
They
structure.
don't need to.
That's their structure.
They're
They
gonna
know Black America's gonna fall into place. You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing what we're talking about again. The only way to combat that situation is like we said earlier. No matter how much we talk, it comes right back in full circle. The only way you're gonna combat this stuff, finance, politics. Finance, politics. Because at the end of the day, without finance, you can say whatever the fuck you want at the end of the day, homie. You're not getting in the door. If you don't have the finances to talk to the right individuals to make certain things happen, you could protest all you want, do all you want to do.
And it begins with what Tanisha was saying from the beginning. There is no leader. There is no leader. There is people out there with the finance and the status to lead, but everybody is thinking about what they're going to lose from this. So there's nobody to stand up for this.
You know what?
A lot of our leaders have been killed, man.
Hold up. You know what you call
Well,
this?
we are so fair.
You know what you call this? I'm gonna tell you what you call this. Call it the bully beef theory. You know what the bully beef theory is? Anybody? Anybody know what the bully beef theory is? Nobody.
Nope.
Nobody don't. You know bully beef. Anybody know what bully beef is?
Yeah.
I never heard of it.
Isn't bull?
Corned beef, man. Corned beef.
Like
Oh,
Americans would say corned beef hash.
Yeah.
For the rest of
Okay.
us, bacon is called.
The beef.
Okay, so you get bully beef with your hard-dough bread or your rice. Okay, so here's the bully beef theory. See, most Black Americans, or blacks in general, I should say Black Americans, or blacks in general, once they reach a certain height, with whether it be they're educated, because the educated one, education it's a double-edged sword. You get some educated person now that once they get educated, I'm too educated to fuck with you anymore, so I'm not coming back here. And then you have the other one that's so educated that they're super stupid. You understand? So the bully beef theory is this. A lot of them don't want to go back to that. They would rather see caviar. So now, once they reach that certain status, and they look and they say, well, I'm eating caviar now. I used to be at bully beef. Why the fuck am I going back to bully beef? So now they're not gonna risk anything, no matter what the cause is, no matter what it is that you might say, well, these are for our kids, and this is to make sure tomorrow is for us, and they don't give a fuck, because right now, they're just concerned with today, the here and now. Here and now, the Luther Vandross, here and now. I don't care about tomorrow, because tomorrow might not be here. Right now, this is the thing, and I'm gonna stay eating caviar because I do not want bully beef anymore. So
You know why that's the problem?
Well, that's what we're saying is the problem. That is the number one problem.
No, but I'm saying, you know why that's the problem?
Why?
It's because we're always trying to go in. We're always trying to get into their door.
But that's
They're going in through their door means being a part of their system. We gotta separate. When Black people integrated with American system is when we failed. We gave up all our powers. We became we became outside citizens and shit of America. We gave up our power when we chose to integrate. We need to stop worrying about somebody closing doors in our face and create our own damn building. When we could create our own building, we could open the damn door 1,000 times if you wanted. And say, yo, oh shit, that's my man down there. Yo, that's a good dude. Come through. And we could bring in the individuals that deserve to be in.
Also the finance.
easier said than done for a lot of things. Here's the thing.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. We always say that. The Asians have been planning this for hundreds of years. And look, they done took over the whole world.
Easier said than done.
We don't even want to take a bullet for each other
Easier
over a cause.
Ooh.
How come nobody ain't run up and kick that cop off a dude?
Easier.
Why? Because they're afraid to die. You got to make it. They got to see. They got to see that we willing to take a shot for our people. You get what I'm saying? We willing to go down for our people, because the problem is we have gotten to this point where it's like, oh man, that's just crazy over there, oh man, oh let me take out my camera phone,
But listen,
and then they post it on social media trying to get
Yeah.
clicks and likes.
again,
That's the world we
What am I
live.
gonna do?
that's
Dude's dead and gone.
But
Dude's
that's-
dead and
But
gone.
listen, though, would you have done that if you were there? Would you have went out there and caught a bullet for
but that's what I'm
the
saying.
man that was on the floor?
Yeah, if I was sitting, look at the person that was recording the whole thing. They just sat there,
No.
and then you see other people come over, grouping up. Look, bro, there was like 20-something people out there grouping around.
17-year-old
Nobody
girl
jumped.
recording that situation, and without that recording, we wouldn't have what we have right now. So you still.
I get that. I get that.
Just finish. It's easier said than done. Here's a situation now. Picture yourself there. You're sitting there and you're seeing this whole situation go down, right? It's Minneapolis. There's multiple blacks and different people standing out there right there. But like you said, not one person went and pushed the cop off and said anything like that. But again,
What would happen?
here's the situation. You could be the activist that went and did that. No one's bailing you. No one's bailing you. No one's coming to your rescue. Now you're sitting in jail now, probably about to get a charge for assault.
But I
listen,
gave a second life
listen what I'm saying.
to one of my people. You feel me? What I'm saying
Listen what I'm
Exactly. Exactly. I hear you on that.
I saved my brother though from
right.
dying.
We're not saying.
But did you not see that Chinese cop? He was like ready to shoot. He had one hand out and the other one in his holster.
Here's
He
the
was
thing
talking
though.
to the
Here's the
people.
thing.
He was ready
a
to kill.
crowd, if a crowd of people push in on a situation because someone's being harmed, killed, murdered,
Homie,
they cannot fire live ammunition on the people.
I'm telling you something.
Well, I'm telling you right now, they're doing it now with the Frogen test.
Well,
and
yeah,
I'm
because
telling you,
look
this
where
is
it's
their
gotten.
state black Republican. They are doing it now, and they're showing their aggression, and
I'm
they're
just
showing
saying.
that their force
But
is
they
being used.
elevated
But what I'm
to
saying
it
at the
though.
time, if you witnessed what was going on, you look at the video with that mind frame of you're going to barge in. There were several people there. How come nobody did it? You know why nobody did it? Because they wasn't going to risk their life to do it. They weren't going to do
I
it.
know that.
And you know what? Because they knew the outcome was going to be of this. You
But
know,
think
wasn't
about
gonna
it.
Change anything.
The guy knows that they were recording him, and he still decided to kill this man on the thing. Do you think he would have had any other doubts or flinch to try to kill somebody else? You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. There's two
Exactly.
people there with guns, and you're going to go there and hit them, and you think that that's going to end up well? I didn't think that would have been a bright idea either. But I feel like they could have had other ways to try to call another police precinct or
Look,
something.
a lot of
but-
people were saying that dude's dying. You get what I'm saying? It's a difference if it was like an altercation or some other shit. Dude's dying. You get me? A lot of people were saying that. If that crowd had rushed, guess what? The cops would have got up to protect themselves, and they could have hopped back. But dude could have lived. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what could have happened? But the problem is, as soon as we say this, we say, oh man, yo, cops had their guns out and other shit like that. Look, back in the days, our leaders and our people in the neighborhoods that was pushing for us, they didn't care about being a martyr because they knew they stood up for something. The problem is, it's how long we trying to live here. We don't know if we're going to live tomorrow, the next month, 3 weeks, 17 years. We don't know. But
And the cops would have said, oh, the crowd rushed him, we would have shot him because this guy had counterfeit money and that's the gang and they're with him. They would have made up something. I'm telling you, it was
Of course they would. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If they had shot all them people of white, Spanish, black, Asian, all them people that was on the street,
They go to jail.
no. Imagine the impact that would have been on Minneapolis. Because remember, Minneapolis is one of the states that allow for that procedure.
Blacks, listen what I'm saying. man.
Blacks, listen, man. Listen what I'm saying. I've been in situation like that, man. There's a dribbling in your mind. There's a lot of things running in the mind at that situation. I've been through a lot of those things. I've been through a lot. Shatter, whistle all over the place. You see what I'm saying? I've been through that. At that mindset, you don't know what to do. You see what I'm saying? And also, people are thinking about their own lives. You see what
Not even their lives, but they have children at home and other people depending on them to be home
was
that
very
night.
relaxed with his hand in his pocket. Which,
No, it wasn't in his pocket. It was on his side. He had black gloves, so it looked like he was in his pocket.
okay. I thought his hand was in his pocket. But what I'm saying, at that moment, sometimes you get some moment where your mindset is not in the same place. You see what I'm saying? It's not easy as how you say just to go towards that.
You know the reason why I say that though is because America live in a herd mentality. They only wait till someone make the move. They only wait till someone speak up. They only wait till someone say something or share. They can be knowing all the information for years and don't say nothing.
Right, that's the same thing I was trying to explain to you earlier. It's not the fact that nobody shouldn't have jumped in and yeah. We understand a person's life is on the line right there, and yes, but the thing I'm trying to pinpoint is who's going to be the first one to jump. See, the problem with it now is that everyone is standing there looking at each other and saying, yo, that's just it, yo. Because everyone's looking at the next one and saying, well, yo, somebody should do something, okay? But the problem is now, because of how everything is geared and how we're brainwashed and how everything moves,
it's a new world.
You already sitting there like, yo. Because if you the one that jumped, you would hope that the rest of us would jump. The problem is,
they might not.
And then the next problem is when you're sitting in jail and you getting that charge on you for assaulting an officer and the blah, 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 and everything start piling up and you sitting there and you hoping that there's going to be an activist out there that's coming to your rescue. Or maybe all of these people that was out there could say, okay, my man stood up. I'm going to make sure we go get him out of jail or something. But when no one comes to your rescue, now you sitting in jail saying, what the fuck did I do? Because now I'm sitting here like, yo, ain't nobody coming to my... It's not the fact that...
Yeah, but...
It's not the... Hold up. It's not the fact that, yes, someone should have done something. It's the fact that how the brainwash and how we're geared, like you said, herd mentality, is the fact that everyone now is sitting there and they just saying, the best thing we're going to do is record. Record. You understand what I'm saying? Back in the days, maybe somebody would have drop kicked them or something. But now, you've seen it, Tom. I've seen it on the trains in New York. Somebody getting their ass whooped. And everyone takes their cameras out before they even think of saying, yo, what you doing? Before they even think of saying, yo, let me break this up. They grabbing their camera. They grabbing their phone. Because that's the gear, how we're geared now. You understand what I'm saying? That's the problem with it. So
I feel like in that situation, either way it wouldn't have went well, regardless. But the next thing you would have to think about is the mothers that were out there that had children at home waiting for them, or certain things like that. Like, a lot of people could have lost, a lot more just because of that. Like, that's why I'm saying it has to be an easier way to deal with that stuff without having to physically harm yourself or, harm everybody else around you, because that could have went anyway.
There's no easy way. Remember, black people been in a war with America's system for the longest. There's no easy way. We rise up, and then we get comfortable, and we fall back down, and then we get weak, and it takes multiple generations to rise us back up. Any society that come in to America, when they rise up, they do everything to stay there. They never stop moving to keep that shit afloat. You know what I'm saying? That's why bro. How can someone come to this country from nothing, having nothing, illegally come here in a shipping container, getting paid $2 a job, and then own a house, then own this, then own that. Next thing you know, they own a company. Next thing you know, they this. We're not sacrificing nothing. We do this. We'll say, oh man, yo, I got this flash drive right here. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is dope. And then they turn around and then they grab another flash drive and they got another thing. Then they get this and they get this, and they whole hands are just, they walking around like this, not willing to just throw that shit away for what they got to do for the next step. You know what I'm saying? So they start thinking about all the stuff they can lose. Oh man, I could lose this.
That's what I said earlier.
And they never do anything.
With the people with the finance and the people with a little bit more status, who you think should stand up. Where is the Jay-Z right now?
They're controlled, all right? They're controlled opposition.
That's what I'm saying. They're controlled.
Because they can stop their
Who's
money,
gonna
so they
stand up?
feel like,
How can black people put the word true to get an answer?
By getting away from this system. We have to create our own system. We need to stop worrying about white people not letting us work or this or whatever the hell. Look, back in the days you had look at Tulsa with Black Wall Street. Look at Harlem. Look at Georgia, Atlanta when they first started up. Look at Little Haiti in Miami, Liberty City. What's the name?
Hialeah.
Overtown. Those areas were solid. Look, Sistrunk in Fort Lauderdale came together and brought that neighborhood up. The community leaders, all these business owners came together. I was in that meeting when they all came together and brought that up. Back in the days, you even came to Sistrunk. You knew you had let me wind these windows up. Let me close that door. You were flying through Sistrunk because you know the deal. Now you driving through Sistrunk, windows down, comfortable with the breeze slapping you.
Sistrunk, even in Sistrunk, okay? Sistrunk is no different than Brooklyn, New York right now, okay? This whole, and throughout the country, I'm pretty sure, the gentrification situation happened because we fucked up. We let the neighborhoods down. We let it run the shit, and we never said nothing. The money that was generated through hustling and all that stuff never came back through. We just flossed the fuck out at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, when Big J came around in his Bentleys and all this stuff, he wasn't doing nothing to, or if he bought a building or two, he didn't take care of the shit. So white American came in, bought it for less, sold it back to us for more, meaning that you're gonna rent it back for more. So at the end of the day, it comes back to the 360 situation again. We need to start policing ourselves and start doing our own shit in our own neighborhoods and have a better understanding of if my neighbor's house is fucked up, I'm either gonna ring his bell and say, look, all right, talk to me. Are you financially strapped? Need some help? Let me go get some paint and I can talk to the neighbor next door and the other neighbors on the block. And we come together to make sure the property value stays up the same way.
True.
If he got an issue with me, then that's totally different. Then he's on his own. I did what I can do to make sure that everything stays level. The problem with it now, when his shit start go to shit, the other ones start go to shit, and all the rest of them go to shit, it's a done deal. It's gonna happen eventually. So
yeah, but everybody have the same thought process as you. Regardless, if they got the money to buy the house, they're not gonna have the same thought process as you. People figure they get it, and like Homeboy said earlier, they get it and they don't give a fuck no more. They got it already. You understand what I'm saying? Trust me, I hear you. I hear you. Everybody want to have the upkeep of their place, so that guess what? They don't lose any property value. We want that, but then you got some motherfuckers that come in the hood and they just reckless, or they don't give a fuck, or they wasn't taught that way. They got it, now they got it. They don't give a fuck about it.
But think about it. They're gonna go where they know they can go and do what they want to do. They have places you can live at. They have homeowners associations. Everybody runs away from that because they want to do what they want to do with their own place. And the fact that they can go someplace and do what they want to do and nobody's going to bother them, that's where they're going to migrate to.
Even with homeowners association, let me tell you something. Once Section 8 get in the middle of that shit, they fuck, because they cannot stop Section 8. So homeowners association, it's all good. But at the end of the day, I've seen it before at spots where they had a homeowners association and it started out well, and it went to shit at the end of the day. But the funny thing about it, I had a situation on my own block. Now, I'm constantly working on my spot. I got a neighbor that's about 3 doors down. Came to me one day and he's like, yo, damn, dog, you gotta chill. So I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, yo, now you got my wife on my ass saying that I should be like you constantly working on shit and I don't do shit here, this and that. I'm saying to myself, homie, what does that have to do with me? If you're lazy and you don't want to do nothing, yo, I look and you got a brand new whip every day. Like, you choose to not do anything to the spot where you got to rest your head. Your priority level is to the vehicle. You understand what I'm saying? So that's your mentality for that. And it's like what Pat said. Some motherfuckers get it, some don't.
I think sometimes it's with the upbringing, especially within the black cultures. Because since black cultures are so diverse and we're so separated in a way, because I can speak more or less on the West Indian background, because when I was being brought up, my mother and my father always brought me up into a certain environment and learned to expect that. So when I go out on my own, that's what I want. I want that or better. I don't put down nobody for what they have, but it just goes back to a scenario that I had maybe about 10, 15 years ago. I was dealing with this girl, and her family originally was from Louisiana, and I met her moms for the first time, and you know how mothers is. They're gonna ask, "What's your intentions with my daughter? What is it that you want to do with your life?" Well, I told them I want to buy a house. I want to get a house. I want to buy a couple of houses. The mother's exact words to me was, "That's what you West Indian people do." Now, she lived in an apartment in Coney Island. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I'm not putting down Black Americans. I'm not putting down no other cultures, but I just sometimes feel like if it's not instilled in you from when you're young, then you're not going to carry it along with you down the line. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm growing up to teach my kids that. My own daughter. I already asked my daughter, what are you going to do? She said, "I'm going to take over whatever business you have, Daddy." You understand what I'm saying? So she's expected to live a certain way, and she's only 11 years old. So I don't know.
Tell her first thing, no Gucci bags.
No Gucci. And she's cool with that. She's cool with that.
So, all right, let me ask everyone on the panel now, at this point now, if you were a politician or someone in that has some say or some status, how do you fix the situation? Q.
Wow. That's it. How to fix this situation with this
that's
shooting
going on.
situation.
Yeah, the situation.
Wow, this is a big one. How to fix it? Not a politician, but man, my thing is, how can we get Black people to come together, to unite? That's a difficult one. That's gonna take a lot to get people to unite. But to fix it, I don't have an answer to fix this.
Black Republic.
I don't have an answer right now, you know?
Literally, what you would do is, you would bring the people together and say, "Listen, I understand where the rage is coming from, because it's been years of that pot cooking." You get what I'm saying? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my power and what I have gained over the years, and I'm going to take it up the ranks. But the only way I can do it is by the help of the people. I need you guys to support me to make this happen. I want the officials. I'm going to take it to the officials. I'm going to do all of that, and we're going to write in a discriminatory law against this, where the police is held at a higher rank because they are trained to de-escalate a situation. And if they do not follow their protocol of situations, they will be held at a high level. You get what I'm saying? When it comes down to certain situations. And only way I can get this passed is by the people backing me on this movement. And if you guys don't back me on this movement, that means you didn't want this to be changed. You want to be shot in the street. You want to do that. What you have to do is you have to bring them in on the guilt to let them know, like, oh shit, so I can get this, but I need to be a part of it. If you don't let them know they have to be a part of it, they're going to sit back comfortably and wait for you to do all the work, and then jump in when everyone's having fun now and say, oh shit, where's the party at? No one wants to be there while the work is being done. You get what I'm saying? So you have to include them, but you have to let them know too, because you as an individual must know the situation you're living in, and you got to let them know, like, listen, if something happens to me the next day while we're getting this done, please know I died as a martyr for you. Now you put that out there, now they're like, oh shit. You just postpone whatever's coming to you, because whenever you fight this devil that's in the system, when you fight this devil, you better know that they're gonna come for you. So you have to go at them in a community. You got to go at them as a unit. If you don't, they will get you. You get what I'm saying? And this is the reality. Ain't no movie or conspiracy theory shit. It's the reality.
All right.
That's what I would do if I was in charge.
Uncle Pat.
This is one of the hardest things to do because nobody can get everybody together.
Yeah.
And that's what you need, and actually to try to fix it is try to get to the grassroots. I'm gonna go to the local community levels where I see all the troubles are happening, and try to bring them together, along with law enforcement, because that's what we need. Because there's gonna be some people that's gonna agree with you, and there's people not gonna agree with you. So, in order to correct this or get it in a working way, we need law enforcement and the regular Joe to be good, and then even the regular residents maybe got to stop the hustling dude on the corner of the block. There's so many things, but we all need to get involved. And guess what? Because if we police ourselves, we won't need them to police us. You know what I mean? And that's just one of the biggest things in the world. And that's where I'm at. Like I said, I'm gonna take it to the streets. Like I said, if everybody on the block tell everybody on the block not to do certain things and everybody agree on it, then we don't need them to come around. That's where I'm at.
Gotta police ourselves.
Nisha J.
So I'm going to go old school and like start with a community association. You know, like if we're all involved in those who are interested in building up the community, get a bunch of leaders and start off with that. And then hopefully grow with that. You know, like back in the days, we used to have Black Party. We used to have like, you know, things where there was activities for children. I feel like you have to give first to get back. In order to get unified and say, okay, you know, this person means business, and they had this block party. They had like, you remember each street used to have their own carnival, you know, little street carnivals. They used to have the little what you call rides in the block. When we had those little things going on, everybody was like, all right, well, we're going to join the association. We're going to help the community. And if you give in first and try to help first and show that you mean business to put forth to the community, this is when you say, okay, she means business. I'm going to participate. And unfortunately, this is what's going to have to happen. You have to give first in order to receive the support. You have to provide. You have to go above and beyond to be able to get the support. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. People are not going to be willing to say, okay, we're going to clean up the trash in the street. We're going to make sure we're looking out for the neighborhood watch and make sure nobody gets robbed. Nobody's going to be able to do that unless they see something done for them. Unfortunately, we have to give first. And the first way of doing it, starting a block party, having these little organizations that help the children in the block. They see we mean business. And then that's when you home into them and say, look, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have to start doing this. We're going to have to start doing that. And then invite ideas for the community to unite. And once they know you mean business, they're going to help. They're going to help.
Nisha Cash.
Well, my thing is, I feel like I believe in attacking the problem first. I see what the problem is with the community is the police and how they're policing, and that the community has no trust in the justice system. So I would make an example out of the police officer by showing the community that we do care, we do take things seriously. So maybe in return, they would put some trust into me and the leaders, basically, and basically being a leader that they know that they can follow, and things will get done. So my main thing is right now, you just basically attack the problem first. Like, why let the police officers just go free and do all this and let this uproar go and let people get destroyed and destroy things when all it takes is you make an example out of this police officer that you do care about people, because clearly they're rebelling because they feel like they have no justice and they have nobody to turn to. So becoming somebody that they can trust, basically, by showing them that I'm on their side. Right is right and wrong is wrong.
All right, Q, I think Q has an answer now.
No, there is 2 points in what everybody says, because most of what you guys said, it's really happening in some neighborhood, but it's not reaching. Also, back in Jamaica, on a different side, most of the community in Jamaica has a particular person who is they call Don, or whatever. They have different names in Jamaica for the person who oversee that community. But that person could be doing all sort of crap